Algebra 2 assignment, Trig review number 2. All right, go ahead and take a minute. See if you can finish up these equations / the equation that goes on the triangle, the side lengths. What do we call those? So see if you can do this without looking at your notes, because really the Pythagorean Theorem, 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90, by the time you get out of Algebra 2, you should have these down. So see if you can fill those in without your notes. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so Pythagorean Theorem, notice how this is labeled. The side lengths are little letters, lowercase letters, A, B, and C. The angles are the ones across from the side. So there's angle A, angle B is across from side B, angle C is across from side C. So Pythagorean Theorem takes the two legs, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 30, 60, 90 triangle, your short leg is in, hypotenuse is twice as long, so we can call it 2 in. Long leg is square root of 3 times as long as the short leg. And the 45, 45, 90, this is half of a square, so your side lengths are equal. The hypotenuse is a side times square root of 2. So a leg times square root of 2. All right, we're going to go ahead and just do some of the problems together. So go ahead and have your worksheet out and complete the problems with the video. First set. Given a right triangle ABC, use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the missing side. Simplify the fractions and radicals. And then one more thing, go ahead and let C be the hypotenuse. All right, so we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So if we simplify that, we get 80 equals C squared. Remember, we can take the square root of both sides. Okay, we don't need to write plus or minus because when I'm talking side lengths of a triangle, I won't be getting negatives. But we do need to simplify. So we're looking for the perfect square that goes into 80. So the biggest one is 16. So 16 and 5. So we can say C equals 4 times the square root of 5. All right, let's go ahead and try number 2 with the fractions. So we can start this the same. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So if we have a fraction, that's like 1/2 times 1/2. We can square the top and square the bottom. Square the top and square the bottom. Okay, to add these together, we need that common denominator. So we got 4/16 plus 1/16. Oops, forgot my squared there. So we get C squared equals 5/16. Well, I still need to take the square root of that. So then your answer, C equals, we can break that up, square root of 5 over the square root of 16, which we know the square root of 16 is just 4. So C equals the square root of 5 over 4. All right, let's jump down and look at number 5 here, another fraction one. So I've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. This time I'm missing my B. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So if I square the top, 1 over square the bottom, 64. Square the top, square the bottom. All right, to solve this, we need to subtract 1/64 to the other side. So we get B squared equals, so common denominator, to make that 64ths, we need to take them times 16. So it's going to be 16 over 64. And then we already had minus in red there, minus 1 over 64. So B squared equals 15 over 64 And then finally, we need to square root both sides. So it should be b is equal to the square root of 15, and then the square root of 64 is just 8. So b equals the square root of 15 over 8. All right, let's jump down to number 7. So on the next page, number 7. All right, this time C is not necessarily the right angle. So just draw it how it's given. So it says A is the 90-degree angle. So if you notice that like this one's a 30, 60, 90, you could draw it like that or put it sideways. So there's my A. C was 30 degrees, so that's going to be that smaller angle. And then B would be my 60-degree angle. Okay, remember the sides, so capital letters are the angles. The sides across from them are lowercase letters. Okay, so this time we've been given that angle C is 30 and side A is 10. What will we do from there? All right, and then when it says to solve the triangle, that means find everything that was missing. So for number 7A, we are missing side B, we're missing side C, and we are missing angle B, but we can figure out what the measure of angle B is pretty easily. Let's just go ahead and get that one out of the way. So we've got a 90-degree angle and a 30-degree angle. So we subtract from 180, we're going to be left with a 60-degree angle for angle B. Okay, so on to side B and C. So we can't use the Pythagorean theorem because I don't know two sides. I only know one side. So we have to use the 30, 60, 90 relationships. So remember, this hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg. Okay, so if the hypotenuse is 10, to get what the short leg is, just divide that by 2. So the short leg is going to be 5. Okay, and then we can take that times square root of 3 to get the long leg. So 5 times the square root of 3. So if we find everything that was missing, we had 5 times the square root of 3, 5, and then measure of angle B was 60 degrees. All right, let's try another one. Part B. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. See if you can draw it out this time. So this time, you still, well, actually your 90 degree is going to be a different angle. So let's just draw it out and then add where A, B, and C would be. So I'll give you a hint here. A isn't 90 and C isn't 90, but one of them is 90. So which letter should go here and go from there? All right, so we can make our right angle be B, angle B, since C was the 30-degree angle and A was the 60-degree angle. So we're missing side B, side C, and the measure of angle A. Actually, the measure of angle B. And we just figured out the measure of angle B had to be our 90-degree angle. So let's go ahead and fill that in. Okay, also remember, the side lengths go right across from their angles. So if angle A, here's side A. Angle B, here's side B, and so on. So we know that side A is 10. Okay, now this is that 30, 60, 90 again. So we can let our short leg be in, our hypotenuse be twice as long, and our long leg be square root of 3 times as long. Now this time is one of those ones where we know the long leg, so we have to work backwards to figure out the short leg. So we need to divide by square root of 3. So if I take 10 divided by square root of 3, I need to rationalize the denominator. And I can get 10 times the square root of 3 over 3. So that ends up being my N, which is side C. Okay, for B, we just want to double that. So if I take 2 times all that, you're going to get 20 square root of 3 over 3. And we can't simplify that, so we'll just leave it like that. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Why don't you guys pause the video and see if you can finish number 7. All right, the measure of angle B is going to be 60 degrees. Side B, the short leg times the square root of 3, so just 10 times the square root of 3. And the hypotenuse just double the short leg, which is 20. All right, let's go down to number 8A. So some more with the 30, 60, 90. This one has a fraction in it. Go ahead and pause your video and draw it out. See if you can finish this up. All right, so there's the picture. Since the hypotenuse is what we've been given, 2n, we need to divide this by 2. So how do I take a fraction divided by a whole number? So let's go 2/3 divided by 2. That's the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. Okay, and the 2's can cancel out to be 1, so it's just going to be 1/3. So that will be your short leg. And then the long leg is that number times square root of 3. So 1/3 times square root of 3 is just going to be square root of 3 over 3. All right, on to number 10. So this one is a 45, 45, 90. Remember, this is half of a square. So it really does help to kind of draw the picture so you can visualize where everything is. So A is our 90, that's what it says. C is 45 and B is 45. And side A would be the hypotenuse. So we need to find side B, side C, and angle B. So angle B, since we already know that C is 45, angle B is also 45. Has to be that way, otherwise it wouldn't make a triangle. Okay, so for side B, we need to divide by square root of 2 because we're working backwards. So we can multiply by square root of 2 over square root of 2 to rationalize the denominator. And we get 10 times the square root of 2 over 2. All right, we can simplify this by taking 2 out of both of those. And it'll just be 5 times the square root of 2. And the good thing is, once I get B, I also know C, because this is a half of a square. Isosceles triangle. Okay, they're both 5 times the square root of 2. Now, all your answers should come out as fractions or whole numbers. All right, let's jump to number 11C. Let's see what 11C is. So we start by drawing the picture. It says it's a 45, 45, 90. Add all the numbers. All right, if we put our info in there, remember the legs are the same. So we already know side A is just 8/3. And then to get side C, we need to multiply that number times square root of 2. So 8 times square root of 2 all over 3. Okay, we can't simplify, so we'll just leave it like that. On the denominator, what's the measure, or the last one, what's the measure of angle A? Would be 45 degrees. All right, last one we're going to look at is number 12. Okay, this time we're trying to figure out if it's a 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90, or neither. So we don't know any angles, we just know side lengths. And we are assuming C is the hypotenuse. So we go A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Go ahead and fill that in, see if you can come up with what A is. And pause the video. All right, so hopefully you set it up. A squared plus 2 squared equals 2 times the square root of 2 squared. When we square this, we need to square both of these. So it becomes 2 squared and then the square root of 2 squared, and you're multiplying them. So we get A squared plus 4 equals 4 times 2. Square root of 2 squared is just 2. So we get it equal to 8. Next step, we want to subtract the 4. And finally, take the square root. So now we have our 3 side lengths. So what type of triangle would this be? It might be helpful to draw the picture as well. So this will be our 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, go ahead and finish up the worksheet and then you can submit it on Canvas.